Hello, I'm AD Hobbs, and this is going to be my review of Back to the Future 2, and I've got to hurry up before the lighting goes, then you won't be able to see me properly. Okay, but before the review, just a few things I'd like to say about the first film. I don't like prejudice against gingers. I don't like the way they're ridiculed and made fun of. Okay, it doesn't happen that often, but it happens now and again, and I think it's so hypocritical. You can't make fun of someone because of the colour of their skin. Why can you make fun of someone because of the colour of their hair? You know, what's the difference? That's such hypocrisy, And I think I was told once it's because gingers are deemed to be really ugly. Well, all I can say to that is this. Some ginger people are ugly, some are good looking. You can't, just like any other hair colour, So I think it's wrong, it's got to stop. We've got to stop being horrible to gingers, Because you are not ginger, that doesn't automatically make you beautiful, and because you are ginger, it doesn't automatically make you ugly. It's absolute nonsense. What's this got to do with Back to the Future? Well, I'll tell you. In the first film, Biff is the main bully, obviously. He's the main villain of the piece, but later on, when George McFly, after he's knocked out Biff, he's dancing with Lorraine at the dance, and the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, a ginger guy pushes him out of the way. Why is he ginger? Well, because he's an irritating bully, and let's face it, everyone hates gingers. It's like, no, they don't. No, that's such a horrible way of putting it. He didn't need to be ginger at all. That's so horrible, In other words, it's got to stop, The colour of your hair is not your personality. You should be judged by the person you are. And, oh yeah, a couple more other things about the first one. Well, the movie Gremlins, there is a connection between that and the first Back to the Future film. Basically, the actress that played the mother figure in Gremlins also played Lorraine's mother in Back to the Future. Also, the outdoor studios, where they use a lot of the chase sequences with the skateboard, some of it is the same outdoor studios as they used in the movie Gremlins. And another connection, or, well, this is my personal thing, I think. One of Biff's bullies, because he always hangs out with three bullies, one of them played by a very young Billy Zane, one of them laughs like a gremlin. When he leaps in the car with the others, he does this obscene giggle like a gremlin. In a way, I suppose you could say that's another connection between Back to the Future and Gremlins. Also, Steven Spielberg was involved with the Gremlins project, and he was involved with all three Back to the Future films. He was like the presenter or the executive producer or something. Anyway, okay, Back to the Future Part 2, released in the year 1989. I didn't see it when it was brand new, but two of my best friends did, and did they talk about it? Blimey, they went on and on about the hoverboards, and the video phones, and all these and Jaws 19, all this cool stuff from the future. The year 2015. That's now. That's not way in the future anymore, but yes. In the 1989, if you were 9 years old, 2015 was way in the future, Yeah. And okay, I'll start at the beginning. First of all, I assumed that there wasn't going to be a sequel, because by 1989, I'd seen Back to the Future many times on video, and it ends without an ending. Basically, they go 30 years into the future, and I remember thinking, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful if they did a sequel? Well, they're not going to. They've left it too long. They would have done one already by now, but wouldn't it be amazing to see the future? Well, to my surprise and delight, they did. On cue, yes, they did do a sequel. Yes, I was pleased about that. I remember references to Back to the Future everywhere. It was hyped a lot. A heck of a lot, yeah. But I didn't see the movies in the right order. I saw Back to the Future when I was 8, saw Back to the Future Part 3 when I was 10, but I didn't see Back to the Future 2 much later until I was 13. I saw it on video. So, yes, you're supposed to see them in the right order, but so that's why I just assumed Back to the Future 2, the main focus of the story was 30 years in the future. The way the focus of most of the story in the first one was 30 years in the past. That sort of brings it full circle or something. And I thought there was only going to be 2. I didn't think there'd be a third one, because I hadn't seen the second one. If I'd seen the second one, it's pretty obvious there's going to be a third one, because it ends with "to be concluded." Hint, hint, there's definitely going to be a sequel. Now, Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3 were made back to back, you know, both together. That's why there's references to stuff from the Old West in the second one, yeah. Now, okay, did I like Back to the Future 2? Well, the simple answer is, as I said before, I saw it when I was 13, and no, I didn't like it at all on first viewing. I felt cheated, ripped off. I assumed most of it would be in 2015, and no, just the first third of the film is 2015. Then we go to an alternate 85, then we see 1955 again. I didn't like that. I thought, no, I want the majority to be in 2015. That's not fair. You can't do that. And also, I didn't like seeing 1955 again. I thought, no, we've done that. We've seen that before. I don't want to see it again. You know, so, yes, as you can see, disappointed. However, over the years, I sort of warmed to it, yeah. Still not as good as 1 and 3, but good in a different way, you know. And I was surprised when Back to the Future 2 made more money than the third one. I thought the third one was better. Well, maybe it's because everyone flocked to the cinema, you know, because they couldn't wait to see. Yeah, everyone assumed it was going to be really good. And it was good. It is good, don't get me wrong, just not as good as the others. And, okay, how did I warm to it? Well, here's how. Because we see stuff in the second one that we don't see in the first and third one. Dr. Emmett Brown keeps on hinting that you must be extremely careful with time travel. If it's ever misused, then it can have drastic effects and really mess up your home. You'll have an alternate, you know, problem with your home, or you could endanger your own existence. Well, we see an alternate 1985, which is like hell. Everyone's horrible to each other. Lots of street crime and violence everywhere. It's like a corrupt police state or something. It's absolutely horrendous, yeah. So we don't have a warning. We have first-hand experience of what it's like. So yeah, that's a bit different. That's something we haven't seen before, yeah. However, in spite of what I'm saying, I'm glad they only did one film like that, yeah. I'm glad that the third one, most of the focus of the story was in one time period, as opposed to 3 different time periods. So, Back to the Future 2, good, but I'm pleased they just did one film like that and didn't make the others like that. And, oh yes, bit of trivia, Red, the homeless guy. He's homeless in the 1985 that Mike McFly knows, and he's homeless in the alternate 1985. So, oh, poor man, poor bloke. So he's bad luck in either version. That's really sad, yeah. Yes, and he's called Red because the nickname Red means lucky. But it's a sarcastic nickname because he's not lucky at all. Yeah, poor bloke. And, okay, there's a bit more trivia here. Well, hoverboards, obviously. When I was 9, I thought we would have hoverboards in the year 2015. There was no doubt in my mind that all these predictions were accurate. Well, we do have a hoverboard of a sort. There's an inventor. He's invented something where you use it like a hoverboard, but it only works on a metal path. And it's got these like magnets that sort of repel metal. And you're about 4 centimetres above the ground like that. You can't sort of fly about the way you can in the film, yeah. So that's the closest thing we've got to a hoverboard, yeah. And all these anti-gravity cars all over the place. I suppose when you're a little kid that makes sense. That's how you envision the near future. But in a way it doesn't. We know now that it's definitely inaccurate because it's the year 2015. But it's still very entertaining. You know, it's still a lot of fun. And I like the fact that we see the skateboard being chased by a car in the first film in the 50s. Then we see the futuristic equivalent of that, Marty McFly on a hoverboard, you know. And I don't find the hoverboard hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that he has no experience of a hoverboard, and yet he can control it quite... Okay, he trips up a bit, but I would have thought he wouldn't be able to control it at all, you know. But he's the hero, you just go with it, you just play along with it. And also, when it's revealed the hoverboard doesn't work on water, you have to have a different kind of hoverboard to do that. Why doesn't he make any attempt to get out the way? Well, he's feeble, he just keeps tapping the water with his foot to make it move along. That isn't working, mate. If I was you, I'd just leap off the hoverboard in the water, then get out the water, and then run for it. But no, all he does is feebly tap with his foot. But this feeble attempt to get away works in his favour, because then he trips up, Griff and his gang miss him, and smash into the place, and as a result get arrested. So the accident works in his favour. And it's very entertaining, very cool, the high-tech gadgets and stuff. And Oh yes, George McFly is barely in the second one. Now, why is this? Well, apparently there's one rumour that he wanted more money, but the actor denies this. He says, no, I didn't ask for too much money at all. That was just a rumour, but the rumour was enough, and as a result I was kicked out of the picture. So that's why we don't see George McFly. We see a look-alike pretending to be the very old George McFly, but that's about it. And he is integral to the plot because he's been killed. So because Mike McFly and Dr. Brown have a time machine, they can go backwards in time to stop it happening, stop the events that happen, to make him, to bring him back to life. So even though we don't see him, he is part of the story. And okay, a few more bits of trivia here. At the end of Back to the Future 1 and the beginning of Back to the Future 2, Biff is the repairman. He's cleaning and fixing the BMW, George McFly's car. However, 30 years ago, in the year 1955, he did attempt to rape Lorraine. Now, if someone attempted to rape your wife, would you want him doing a job for you, working for you? No, I don't think you would you? You wouldn't want to have anything to do with him, never speak to him, never have anything. No, keep away, no. Be thankful I don't get the law on you, you know? I mean, it's good that Biff isn't a bully anymore, yes, but it's a bit creepy, but it's a story, so just go with it. And also, I remember when I first saw Back to the Future 2 being shocked that when Biff steals the time machine, uses it to make himself become corrupt and powerful, he controls the whole of Hill Valley, he's turned it into a horrible place to live, it's like hell, and it's so awful. In fact, Mike McFly thinks they're in the wrong year at one point, but no, it is an alternate 1985, and he's committed murder, he's killed. I was shocked at that, but then that's kind of the point of the story. It's saying, if you put a bad guy in the right circumstances, he's capable of doing just not anything goes, just as horrendous as you can possibly imagine. And vice versa. If you put a good person in the right circumstances, he could do amazing, wonderful things. Yeah. And also, Dr. Emmett Brown says this is an impressive example of how time travel can be abused if it gets in the wrong hand. So as soon as we've straightened this mess out, I'm going to destroy the time machine. Wait a minute, it took you 30 years to make that thing. It took all your family's fortune, all your assets, everything to make it, and you're going to destroy... No, that's a bit harsh, that's a bit soon, you know. By all means, be extremely careful with time travel, but you don't need to destroy it, but that's what he says, you know. And the DeLorean is a bit different to what we've seen before. The two obvious differences: instead of plutonium, it runs on garbage, trash. You know, it has Mr. Fusion, which can convert just about anything into power, so that's very useful. And the other obvious difference is it has anti-gravity travel now. So yeah, that's very nifty. But at the beginning of Back to the Future 2, he wants to back up a bit, and then he says, we don't need roads because the thing can fly. Why does he do it in broad daylight? You know, in the first film, he travels. They're going to use the time machine at 1 o'clock in the morning on the shopping mall car park place where there's no witnesses. So careful to make sure there's no witnesses. Why is it that he uses it in broad daylight? And of course somebody does see him. Biff sees it, and that's how he works out that Dr. Brown invented a time machine. So all that careful planning before, and now, no, it's okay, just travel back in time anywhere, any place, any time. And also, at the end of the first Back to the Future film, Marty McFly, his parents have got back together, they're much happier, he's got his girlfriend back, and he's got his dream car, the 4x4 truck. You know, he's like, wow, that's great. He wants for nothing. He's got everything he could ever want. And then kisses his girlfriend. And then Dr. Brown says, we've got to go now. We've got to put things right in the future. Why do we have to go now? I only just got here. Why do we have to go now? You've got a time machine. You've got all the time you want. Why this great rush to do it right now? Couldn't we sit down and talk about it first? Yeah. Why this great rush? Yeah. And again, in Back to the Future 2, when they're in the alternate version of 1985, they realise everything's gone horribly wrong. Marty's father's been murdered. Everyone's really miserable and unhappy. And we now know that Biff got that book, the Sports Almanac, in 1955. So we have to go back and put it right. Why now? Why right now? You know, couldn't we sit down, draw a diagram and make a proper plan? You know, why this great rush now? And I suppose the real reason is to keep the story moving, that's why. But in real life, it's a lot to take in, you know. You need to slow down a bit, you know, do things in stages, yeah. Oh, and something else I was disappointed about Back to the Future 2. This has nothing to do with visiting 3 separate time periods. Jennifer Parker, Mike McFly's girlfriend, she's barely in it at all. She sees the time machine, sees what it can do, and then she's knocked unconscious. What? She's just seen this amazing thing, a time machine, you know. What, we're not going to do anything of that. We're not going to expand on that. This amazing revelation, but no, we're going to knock you out and you're going to think it was a dream after. No, they could have given her more character, given her more stuff to do. That would have been cool. It would build and expand on her character. But I think the real reason she's barely in it is so that you don't notice a different actress is playing her. But you know what? No, I didn't care that a different actress was playing her. You know, just give her more stuff to do. You know, because otherwise Jennifer Parker, she's just the love interest of the hero, and that's it. She doesn't do anything else. So that's okay. Maybe that was acceptable in the 80s, but nowadays, no, we need more strong-willed female characters. Give them more stuff to do. You know, she's not just any woman. She's the love of his life, the lover of the hero. You know, so make it as important as the hero. But no, they didn't. They chose to do that. The original Jennifer Parker didn't ask for more money. That's not why she wasn't in the film. No, it's simply because she got pregnant, heavily pregnant, and couldn't, you know, film all the stuff. So it's a shame. It's a shame they couldn't have her in the film. Or alternatively, it doesn't matter they're a different actress, just give her more stuff to do, you know. But they didn't. And, oh yes, when he goes back to 1955, he goes there a second time, because the time travel theory is, if you travelled backwards in time to a place, and then went to the exact same place again, there'd be two of you there, two versions of you. So yeah, that was an interesting concept. And we see the fight with Biff from a different angle. We don't see George McFly's face, because it's a different actor, that's why, yeah. But no, and also so we see it from a different perspective. And it's very dramatic when George McFly knocks out Biff. For the first time ever, he's standing up to Biff. We see his hand turn into a fist in slow motion, and he wallops him, knocks him out. Yeah, really dramatic turning point in the story. And then he gets up again after a few minutes. No, you can't do that. I assumed Biff would be unconscious for a couple of hours, but he gets up after about 10, well, not even that, less than 10 minutes. No, you can't do that. That demystifies the dramatic turning point in the story. But no, he gets up again, okay, a bit of blood on his mouth, but otherwise perfectly okay. He can get up, walk about, drive a car, everything. Yeah. So, Back to the Future 2, yes, we have first-hand experience of what can happen if you... We get the opposite of what we had before. Before, at the end of the first film, he sees a better version of 1985. Then, because Biff abuses the power of the time machine, we see a much worse version of 1985. But if you put it right, you can put it all back, and that place will no longer exist. Everyone will be happy again, so that's good. Okay, what are my final thoughts on Back to the Future Part 2? Well, a little disappointed that it wasn't mostly set in 2015, but otherwise okay, yeah. And I'm glad that we see the flying car in the alternate 1985, and the hoverboard is important to the plot when he's in the 50s, yeah. So, even though we're in different time periods, we do see the future technology, so that's cool. Now we're in the year 2015, so that's the thing that makes the film look a bit dated. We know we don't have anti-gravity travel now, but just play along with it, you know. In a way, that's what makes the films look a bit dated. The way they keep they specify the year 1985, 30s, 2015. If they didn't specify the year, it wouldn't look dated. You know, if you said something like a few years from now or in the near future, but they don't. They specify the year 2015. Okay, so yes, I think it's good that we did see the future technology even in different time periods, and okay, I'm running out of time now, so I better wrap this up. It was some people that saw the films in the right order have said to me they thought Back to the Future 2 was very annoying because there's no ending. That's really annoying, yeah. But it wasn't annoying for me because I'd already seen the third one. I knew what happened. Yeah. And also, when at the very end, when the Marty McFly's given a letter by a man who says, this letter's been in our possession for 70 years, and here it is, you better read it, it's extremely important, it's from Dr. McBrown. Why does he read it in the pouring rain? I mean, it's ink, all the rain will ruin the ink, you won't be able to read it properly, and it's a really important letter, you know. Why doesn't he take it inside a building and read it there? Why does he read it in the rain? Well, to keep the story moving, that's why. That's why we can't wait, because we have to keep the story moving. Okay, Back to the Future 2. A bit much to take in, that's another way I could describe it. You need to see it a few times to fully understand. And we see 3 different time periods. We see different, you know, but I'm glad I can understand why they did 2 sequels, because if you squeeze that and 1885 all into one film, it's overkill. It's just too much, isn't it? So I'm glad that they did 2 sequels instead of just 1. Okay, that's enough from me, and take care.